6th and 7th generation circus performers, and also people who came out of the amazing circus school movement in Soviet Union that really started in the 20s. So that was a great background, and I had theater that I had been doing, so I really got excited about starting a circus and wanted to do it in my neighborhood, and that's actually how I met your grandmother, was through the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture. And she said, if you're going to have a circus,
well, you're going to need a parade. And he said, I think art should be in the neighborhoods where people are. And I said, well, we believe that too here at the Commission for Arts and Culture. And it was like that, you know, everything that he said, I said, yeah, and that's really how the circus started for me.
You know, we believe that artists need to be paid and a lot of different things. And so really that was how we got the circus started. What was great about Circus Flora, the group I was first with in St. Louis, it built around an elephant. And actually one time the elephant was chained up and swung her trunk and destroyed the trailer that I was living in. They had to rebuild it. So I learned about elephants, a little bit of that. I think it was in 2000, we got a really huge gig providing circus entertainment for Culligan Water Company.
Presenting your Culligan man. He's Mr. Softwater himself.
The Culligan wanted to have a tiger act, and they went back and forth. We want it, we don't want it, we want it, we don't want it. And finally, they got it, and we, through some friends, we were able to bring in a really prominent tiger act from Florida. And they arrived on Christmas Eve in Glorieta Bay Park in Coronado. And I was just like, oh, I've always wanted to talk to a tiger. I've always wanted to pet a tiger. And there were 6 tigers in this semi-trailer. And I got to talking, hanging out with them and with the 2 guys who were handling them, you know, and they had these gates down at the bottom, and they had meat big slabs of meat that they would thaw out, and they would open up this thing and throw the meat container in. The tigers go, you know, they just loved it. But these guys, they had a really good way with the tigers, and they let me talk to them and pet them. I love cats, so I talked to them like they were cats. But I got too familiar with them. And one time I had my hand up near my arm I had a wool sweater, and I was up near the cage, and one of them went, oh, sheep, and went, and bit a hole about this size in my sweater. My wife Cindy was like, oh, you did what? She was really scared. So, and I was pretty scared after it happened. I put a lot more distance between me and them after that.
The circus gave me a whole flood of new inspiration for characters, for color, for settings, for reasons to be, because circus is an ancient art form of all the disciplines and all the media. So it was like a whole new life for me as a visual artist.
San Diego's own circus, and kids of all ages can be in the show.
The after-school circus skills program works here in our local recreation center. It's free for kids to come and learn how to do athletics with a sense of showmanship like they do in the real circus. You'll see in the gymnasium Pietro, Kristen, and now Pietro 3 Canestrelli all working with the kids, teaching them the skills that they've known for centuries. In the old circus tradition, there's a real sense of wonder about the potential of the human spirit and the human body to do amazing things, to do magical things.
So it was in 2003 that John left the circus, and then the people who decided to keep it going on their own as more or less volunteers were able to keep it together until about 2011. And at that point, they stopped producing, but the corporation was still intact. They didn't dissolve it. That made it possible for us to come back in and restart?
Well, for me, people kept coming up to me, and probably 2012, 2013, and they'd say, "Oh, didn't you start Fern Street Circus?" And oh yeah, and they'd say, "Oh well, I really love the shows. I love the music. I love the kids, whatever it would be." And then they'd always go, "Well, whatever happened to it?" And for me, the thing that most convinced me was that Cindy and I were at LA County Museum of Art in Los Angeles, in a darkened room, at a light sculpture by a guy named James Terrell, and a couple came up to us and said, "Oh, didn't you start Fern Street Circus?"
So John told me in the convincing, he said, this is really the best thing I've ever done. And this is something I think I can really do the best. So both ways. And he was like, I think I can convince people of things when I'm talking about the circus more than I can any other thing I've done. And that kind of convinced me too, because we think art can do things for communities that no other phenomenon can do. Brings people together in public spaces. They're entertaining, but they're also learning about each other. They're bridging economic gaps, language gaps, because circus as an art form is physical, it's musical, it doesn't rely on that much language. So there's the opportunity to bring people together. But there's also work opportunity. It's like a workforce program, because people get hired, we pay them to do this. And we train young people for free, then they can gradually start taking jobs in the field. And a lot of people we've worked with end up having a lifetime career out of the things they learned with us.
When we offer free circus instruction, when we do performances in neighborhoods, and we mix kids, students with working professional artists. So the artists benefit by being able to be in a more multi-generational show and to teach students and then also perform alongside them. The kids benefit by being with a working professional artist who really mentor them and really model for them what it means to be a serious working artist.